Hey everyone, DCB here again with another fun McRestoration. This time round I have a pretty amazing piece. It's actually too big to fit in my office here, so through the magic of television I present to you this incredibly rare life-size fiberglass Ronald McDonald wall plaque. It was made by the Alfred Gordon Studios in 1972, which makes it one of the earliest and rarest McDonaldland pieces out there, predating the more commonly seen setmaker pieces that most of us are more familiar with. This particular piece has some additional history to him as well, as he's currently owned by the Chicagoland area Ronald McDonald himself. He won it years ago in a PBS auction, and it's been since sitting in his yard, kind of rotting away in the elements, but we're going to fix it up for him. In addition to the massive paint loss on it, there's also some structural concerns as well. There's a few cracks in him, and most notably on his foot, and a huge chunk of fiberglass is missing from his finger. But all of this seems like pretty standard fare, so once again, let's go out in the shop and see what we can do. The first thing we need to do is remove what remaining old paint is left on him. And for that we're going to use citrus strip. This is a very innocuous substance with a pleasing citrus smell. But unlike us, you'll probably want to wear gloves and avoid the temptation to lick it. Just liberally apply it with a disposable brush, making sure to get into all the nooks and crannies. After it soaks in for a little bit, we're just going to take a wire brush to it and start brushing away the old paint. Overall, it turns into a big gooey mess that's kind of a pain to deal with, so after doing this for about 10 minutes, we had a better idea. And that's when we loaded it up into the car and brought it to the car wash. It turned out to be a really great idea because A, we don't own a pressure washer, and B, we really didn't have anywhere to spray it anyway. And as you can see, it did really quick work of it. After we brought it back to the shop, we noticed there were a few sections of paint still left, so we repeated the process with some more citrus strip and sprayed it again. Here's a pro tip. There will be no waiting in line at the car wash on a rainy day at 5 a.m. in the morning. The second wash certainly did a trick at removing almost all of the paint, but now we're just going to clean up a little bit of the rough spots with some sanding pads and water. This piece originally hung from the restaurants from a strip of wood on the back of it that has pretty much rotted away to nothing. So we're going to take some quick measurements of what's left and make a new piece for it. The original wood was nailed and puttied to the back, so we'll have to remove all of that. Once we have the area cleaned out enough, we're going to adhere the new wood with some E6000 glue and let that cure overnight. It's time to give Ronald a good base of automotive grade primer. This goes on a little thicker than the stuff you get in a spray can, so it helps smooth out and fill out any minor imperfections. And since it's a two-part catalyst mix, it's a stronger, more durable base to work off of. Now with everything in a matte gray color, it's easier to see the areas that need patching and repair. We're going to start with this large chunk of broken gel coat on his finger. For that, we're using Epoxy Sculpt, which is a two-part modeling compound similar in texture to Play-Doh or Sculpey. Just remove equal parts of the A and B from the tub and knead and roll them together until they're equally blended. You get a pretty good amount of time to work with this stuff, and you can use your fingers or tools dipped in water to help form and smooth it into the desired shape. Once it cures overnight, it'll become rock hard and durable enough that you can sand it further if needed. He has a few more surface chips and cracks around the edge that we'll also patch up. The epoxy is strong enough to fix these more extreme and structural damages, but we'll use glazing putty to fill in the smaller pinholes and other minor blemishes. You don't want to use glazing putty on areas that may bend or have stress put on them though, as it'll probably chip or flake off. But for the light surface damage, it's a perfect choice. Once the epoxy and glazing putty have cured, we'll give it an overall wet sanding and another layer of primer to help smooth and blend everything together. Now that we have a perfect base to work off of, it's time to start painting. We're going to first hit it with some Duplicolor automotive paint in white. This is a customer grade paint that you can buy for about $30 a quart at any automotive parts store like AutoZone or O'Reilly's. It sprays out really thick, and I can't imagine using this on a car, but for our purposes it's just fine. It came out of the gun like fake snow, and I thought something was wrong, but it does eventually smooth out on the surface once you build up the layers, and it creates a pretty nice slick finish. Besides white, Ronald is mostly just three other colors: yellow, red, and black. Originally, these Alfred Gordon pieces were painted in more subdued matte color tones, but the client wanted him to match the brighter primary colors of the later Setmaker pieces. Luckily for us, Rust-Oleum Sunburst Yellow is a perfect choice right out of the can. This is an enamel oil-based paint, and it took about 3 coats to fully cover him. Rust-Oleum Sunrise Red was also fantastic right out of the can. Painting the stripes was actually quite tedious work, and it took us a bit of time to do them. For the teeny bit of blue in his eyes, a small bit of model paint was used. For his zipper, we're using Rust-Oleum Hammered Silver paint, because that's what we had on hand, and it worked just fine. Because it's generally best practice to work from lightest to darkest colors, the final color we'll do is black. The McDonald's lettering and the M on his pockets all get outlined, as well as his facial features. There's a deep groove in the sculpt to help indicate where these outlines go. Now that all the painting is done, we will give it a nice overall protective and glossy layer of automotive clear coat by Omni. We spray it on as thick as possible while also being mindful of preventing drips. It's a tricky process, but we're getting better at it every time, and the results are amazing. It really brings everything together. And here it's being presented to the owner, Ken, the McDonaldland Ronald McDonald. He had no idea we were doing this for him, so it was quite a surprise. He seemed to really like it though.
All right, ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It like it's factory fresh. It's like
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
Wow. Well,
Oh my goodness.
I would
Tom.
hug that, but I want to hug you instead.
Oh,
so-
okay.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at sugar_frosted or Dustin Crops Boy. We will be back very soon with another McRestoration video that I think you're really going to like a lot.
You're weird.